In this month's update, I'll reveal my biggest month to date in terms of dividend income, more than doubling my previous record. The UK market has been in a bit of a slump lately, to say the least. But despite this, my dividends continue to roll in unaffected. This is one of the main reasons I prefer dividend investing to other forms of investing, even if it might not always be the most profitable method. It's so much easier to make it through the inevitable ups and downs the market brings when you know you still have money coming in either way via dividend payments. I invest spare money each month regardless of whether the market is up or down, and at no point during any market drawdown so far have I considered selling. In fact, the lower prices go, the more attractive the dividend yields become, so long as the fundamentals remain strong, that is. So without further ado, let's get into who paid what this month. The contents of this video should not be taken as financial advice. I'm only sharing my own experiences. If you'd like to know the company's ticker symbol, it's shown in the top left. Bottom left is a snapshot of the company's dividend payment history taken from divmax.com. The total amount I have invested in each company is shown here at the bottom right. In order from lowest to highest, the first dividend payment this month was a whopping £1 from the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which mirrors the S&P 500 index. This ETF has a pretty low yield at 1.3%, but as many will know, the S&P 500 has a solid track record with an average growth rate of just above 10% per year over the last 30 years. A 10% ROI that is truly 100% passive is pretty hard to beat, so I'll be adding plenty more of this one as time goes on. Next up is the global giant Unilever in the consumer staples sector, paying out £5 this month. Unilever's dividend yield is currently a reasonable 3.6% and it pays out quarterly. Bluefield Solar Income Fund is an investment fund focused on acquiring and managing wind and solar farms within the UK. Bluefield paid me £7 this month. The share price has taken a bit of a tumble so far this year, however the company's fundamentals remain strong. BSIF currently have a very attractive dividend of 7.2%, which pays out 4 times per year. Next up is Tritax Big Box, which is a real estate investment fund, or REIT for short, which rents out huge commercial warehouses or big boxes to the likes of Amazon, Morrisons and Tesco, to name a few. Tritax pay out a dividend of 5.1% quarterly, and just like BSIF, paid me £7 this month. Although there's not a long dividend history to look at, yields have been steadily increasing since they began in 2014, with only a slight dip during COVID. HSBC next, once again paying out £7. HSBC is one of the world's largest banks, with operations in over 60 countries, so you really get global exposure with this one. HSBC pay out 4 times per year and currently have a yield of 5.3%. The Vanguard All-World High Dividend ETF is pretty much what it sounds like. It's an ETF that comprises of high dividend paying companies from all over the show. VHYL paid me £10 this month, bringing the total monthly amount so far to £37. The iShares Core FTSE 100 ETF mirrors the performance of the FTSE 100 index as a whole. There are many companies paying half decent dividends within the FTSE 100, so this ETF reflects that. The current dividend yield is 3.9% and I received £13 this month. Tesco, now in the consumer staples sector, paid me £16. This makes it the second biggest dividend I received this month. Tesco have a decent dividend of 4.3% and a very solid dividend cover of 2.3, meaning that Tesco can comfortably afford to carry on paying their dividend at its current rate and above. By far the biggest dividend this month was from Legal & General at £30. This is also the biggest dividend I've received to date. LGen have a massive inflation beating dividend of 8.4% and a pretty solid history of reliable payments and increases. In addition to this, LGen also have a decent dividend cover of 1.8, so the current high yield should hopefully be sustainable over the long term, but only time will tell. This chart shows my monthly dividend income to date. As you can see, this month's total was a massive jump up from the previous. This is simply because many of the payment dates for the companies I own just happen to fall in June. In addition to this, I had that relatively big payment from Legal & General. Unfortunately, I fell just short of the £100 a month milestone this month, which is a big one in any dividend investor's journey. Not to worry though, I'm in this for the long run, and I'm sure I'll be checking that off the list soon. This chart keeps track of my average dividend income month by month. I prefer to look at this chart over the actual returns because I can see the steady and continuous growth month by month. Looking at the average also gives you a much better understanding of where you're at in terms of dividend income. If I just look at 1 or 2 months in isolation, it can be quite misleading. These are the actual dividend returns I get on each stock that I own, and may differ from the amount you'd get if you purchased today. This is known as yield on cost, and it's dependent on the average price you paid for the stock. The total dividend yield on cost across my portfolio is currently 4.7%, which is significantly above the current FTSE 100's index average of 3.7%. Here's a look at September's ex-dividend dates. If you want to purchase shares in any of these companies, then be sure to do it before the dates listed here if you want to be entitled to the dividend. Talking of purchasing shares, next up I'm going to buy some more shares of Legal & General. I use Trading 212 because I don't like paying commissions, so let's go over to the app and make the purchase. I'm investing around 550, so I'll just use the slider to get me to around that figure. Close enough. I'll just double check it's correct and then send. As you can see, it's all gone through easy as that. I typically just use market orders because I'm happy enough with the spreads I get. If you want to give Trading 212 a try, then use the link in the description to get a free share worth up to £100. If you've just started out on your investing journey and are finding things to be moving painfully slowly, then check out this video next.